So welcome, also glad you came, and there's a chat box somewhere on your screen. If you have questions or comments, please put them there and I'll do my best to address them. And hi, Mark. So it says here, we gather in person as a community to meditate in silence and then listen to a brief talk on Zen teachings. There will be time for questions and discussion, and we'll close with a transfer of merit. We will explore how to apply Zen in our everyday activities and cultivate our awakened mind in modern daily life. We study how to transform our suffering and see the world with a compassionate heart while realizing the true oneness of one's life. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? So that's what we're gonna aim to do. So, is anyone new to meditation, never meditated before? Kind of, sort of, maybe, not sure. Okay, and you too. Okay. Has anyone never done Zen meditation before? Okay. All right, so what I will do in the beginning is explain the difference and the instructions of Zen. So those of you who already know what to do, you could practice patience meditation while I'm going over this, okay? So Zen is a silent stillness practice. So if you've come here before and you've done some meditation, you'll hear people saying, follow your breath, where is your mind, and all of that. That won't be happening, okay? I'll explain to you the posture, and I'll explain to you all the instructions at the beginning. Then I'll ring the bell, and then it's up to you to remember to stay awake, to follow your breath, to be present, and to remember that you're meditating, that you're not just hanging out, okay? So that's how we'll do it. So posture is often stressed in Zen, and the suggestion is to sit up straight. Okay, we want the energy to flow. All right. So don't be slouching. Sit in an upright position as best you can, whether you're on a cushion or whether you're on the chair. Okay. I'll explain about the posture, and then I'll explain some ideas of what you can do with your thoughts as they come up, because they will come up. So. Okay, so posture, you're going to sit up straight. Eyes can be, a lot of people like to meditate with their eyes closed. Zen traditionally suggests that you have your eyes slightly open. So with your gaze cast down. The reason for that is you're still in your experience, but you're not able to really look around and get distracted. Some Zen places, they actually face a wall. So that really cuts down on the distraction. Our minds are so easily distracted, so that's why we do that. If you're used to meditating with your eyes closed and that works for you, great. People tend to get sleepy. So if you notice, well, I want to sit with my eyes closed, and you notice yourself nodding off, that'll be a reminder to open your eyes a little bit, okay? All right, so the posture, the eyes, the hands. Your hands can be in your lap. They can be gathered in what's called a mudra. So this is called the cosmic mudra. So you're just holding your hands in a particular way, slight pressure on your thumbs to just another check-in point. So if you're off and you're daydreaming, you don't realize it, and you suddenly realize, oh, my thumbs aren't even connected, you know you've drifted off, okay? So there's a lot of checks. You can have them on your lap, whatever you like to do. I usually ask people to commit to the posture. So however you think you're going to sit. If you're sitting in a chair, I like to have a cushion behind my back to support my back. If you're able to sit on the floor, great. Whatever posture you choose, make a commitment. We're going to be sitting for about 20 minutes. And the suggestion is stillness. Why do we want to be still? Why would it be important to be still while you're meditating? Some of you know the answer already because you've been here before, but whoever. Why do we want to be still? Okay, Tamara, I'm going to call on you. Why is it important to be still?
Use my language. If you get squirrely,
absolutely,
and your mind starts to wander, and you start noticing, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Right. So if your body is all moving around, how's your mind going to be? Probably doing the same thing. If your body is still, the better chance that your mind might be still. There's no guarantee, of course. There's no guarantee in life of anything ever, but that's the reason. So sometimes people react to the structure of Zen, and they're like, oh, why do we have to sit still? And why does it have to be silent? It's so that you can get more in touch with what's happening now. okay? So we're going to be paying attention to what we call present moment awareness. So let's say you're going to be following your breath. That's what many people will do. And what do I mean by following the breath or noticing the breath? I like to say pay close attention to your breath. So what I often invite people to do, and if you'd like to join me right now, is put your hands at the top of your chest. Take a couple of deep breaths. That's your anchor right there, your breath. Is that happening now? It's happening now. So you can know at least there's one thing you're aware of that's happening now. It's your breath, okay? Some people will just follow their breath for the whole meditation. You can also add, if you would like to, attention to sound. Once we get quiet, once I stop talking and everybody gets into the silence, you'll notice there are sounds. Sometimes you'll hear cars. If we're lucky enough to hear the parrots flying over, you may hear them. Many things. And sometimes just the sound of silence can be very sweet. So the breath, the sounds. If you wanted to add a third thing, it may seem like a lot, awareness of sensation. So let's say your hands are on your lap. You can just notice the feeling of your hands on your lap. The breath, the sounds, the touch. If that seems like too much, just usually pick the breath, okay? So what's going to happen when thoughts come up? Does anybody think they're not going to have any thoughts? Y'all will, okay? I've been doing this for 20 years. I have plenty of thoughts, you know. You notice you're thinking. And so some people like to label a thought. The person might say thinking, or judging, or impatient, or whatever. Don't make a whole long thing about it, but just briefly note it, go back to the breath. You will have thoughts. Just notice them floating by. Oh yeah, I'm thinking, back to the breath. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Some people like to count to 10 breaths. What I've discovered over the years is that I can count to 10 breathing and still be thinking in the background. Our minds are very clever and they want to be busy. So we're going to do our best to keep them still. All right, questions before we get started? All right, so choose your posture. However you're going to have your hands, however you're going to sit, try to be still as possible to keep your mind still and to not distract others. I'll ring the bell 3 times to start. I'll ring it 3 times at the end. I will often do a little bow at the end. You can bow back if you like, or just really bow into our practice or bow into ourselves. Looks like everyone survived. I'd love to hear some people share of their experience. We all learn from each other's experiences. So particularly I'd like to hear from the people who are a little bit newer at this. What was it like for you? What were the challenges? How did you do it, and how did you feel about it? Yeah.
I had a song playing in my head
You had a
over
song.
and over.
Yeah.
And as I continued to try and ignore it, I made it sound farther and farther away. So I kind of assumed I was floating away from it. It was still there, I couldn't turn it off, but I was floating away from it, so it got quieter and quieter, and then eventually it disappeared. Well,
And you're newer at meditation, you said, right?
I remember it.
Very good. That sounds good. Who else would like to share? Or would be willing to share? You don't have to like it.
I think I struggled a bit with the posture.
The posture? Okay, what about the posture? Just the holding still part, or?
Well, at the beginning, I sort of started like this, like with a 90-degree angle, and then it's sort of like a tension was building up.
Yeah.
I guess on my hips. Eventually, I sort of moved the feet a little bit further, so my knees were below the waist, and then I kind of dealt with that problem.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the first time I tried meditating with like the eyes slightly open instead of completely closed. I was expecting it to be really distracting, but I don't know, it was nice.
Okay, good, yeah. And if you absolutely have to move, if you're having pain or something, do move, but just be mindful when you do it. So, yeah. Who else? Yes, ma'am.
I had a lot of trouble staying
Staying awake. Okay. Were your eyes closed while you were trying to meditate?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what you could do? Open them. Try that. That would help, you know. There's no law that you have to have your eyes closed or open, or you have to be perfectly still, or this is all, these are just guidelines and structure to help you in your meditation. So if having your eyes closed isn't working, try opening them, you know. That would be fine to do, yeah. Yes?
I did open for the first time and thought they were partially open, and then realized I just wasn't. I take my glasses off because if I'm wearing them, I prefer to take them off when I meditate.
Yeah.
Anyway, I ended up closing them, and then my whole body like just relaxed more. So it was interesting to see the difference for me.
So when you close them and you notice yourself relaxing, were you like relaxing towards going to sleep?
No.
No? Okay.
You know, just the tension. I think
okay.
I just felt like there was more into the chair. The whole body kind of went, whew.
Yeah. Well, so these are all really good awarenesses. Hey, Jody, I'm going to pick on you. How was it for you?
It's great. It's really good. I just came from work, so sort of turned that valve off, you know, like everybody.
Yeah.
But what helped with the racing thoughts was intentionally saying within each inhalation and exhalation, thank you now. And just sort of have that loop going on in my head, like inhale, thank, exhale you, inhale now.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I can feel the more stuff starting to
Okay, good. So that helped you stay a little bit on track.
more present.
More present, yeah, yeah. Some people may find, and this has always been my experience with meditation, that the second meditation, you feel a little more still because you're already kind of in the groove. Unless you're like getting agitated and wanting to go, and then you're going to just be more agitated. So there's no guarantees of this at all. So, yeah, good. Anybody else want to talk about it? People who've meditated a lot have any different experiences? Got anything, Tamara?
Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts. They were mostly pleasant, which is always nice.
Yeah, right?
I was aware of the reds kind of vaguely.
Uh-huh.
And of course, I'm sitting in front of Homer Simpson, and that is making.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting the things that we notice when we're being quiet and still. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not saying I've meditated a lot, but I noticed probably for like the first time as I was breathing in and out with my chest rising, I noticed the joints in my arms creaking, my shoulder and elbow and even wrists. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, what's happening?
So you got a little nervous.
It was a little like, why is my body creaking? But it's probably always doing that, and I'm just often not attuned to it. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, we do tend to notice more things when we're paying attention. Because we're not just paying attention to the breath, other things are going to come along, like sounds. Like you had an internal sound. Did anybody happen to hear any external sounds? Is anybody focusing or noticing the sounds? What did you hear, Dana?
Parents.
Yeah. Parrot, I heard a parrot too. Anybody else hear the parrot? It's really great when the whole flock of them comes over. It's just lovely. Yeah. Cars also. Anybody hear anything else?
The little dog that was.
Say that again?
The little dog that was out there.
The little dog, yeah. Yeah.
Hurting or crying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when we're paying attention, we're paying attention. So again, we're training our minds to be in the present moment awareness. So it's awareness of everything, you know. And why is that important? If we're just thinking all the time, we're going to miss everything. You know, all we're going to have is a constant dialogue. Every time we do anything, we're thinking. We've talked before about, you know, practice doing one thing. See how that would be. Like if you're brushing your teeth, just brush your teeth. Don't be looking at your phone. Try not to be singing a song to yourself. Just like notice what it feels like. Feel the sensations in your mouth. Hear the sound of the water. Feel the sensations of the toothbrush on your teeth. You know, if you're driving, just drive. So I practice this one a lot. I'll feel my hands on the steering wheel. I notice the colors of the signs. You know, you want to be aware of everything that's going on. I purposely don't turn on my radio because I want to be present to driving. You know, you could also be present to driving with the radio on, you know, but you're adding more stimulus. Has anyone ever had a meal in silence? Yeah. Without looking at your phone or reading the paper or emails or anything? Yeah. What is that like? You said yes.
It's really quite a different experience
Yes.
than the ordinary everyday experience. And it allows one to focus more on the qualities and the textures of the drink and the food.
Exactly.
It's really quite exquisite.
Because a lot of times we just we're eating and we're maybe not even noticing that we're eating, you know. And of course, if you're having a social event with somebody and you're talking and eating, well, that, you know, unless you both agree, well, let's try to have this meal in silence, have the social thing, you know. But when you have the opportunity, try a meal in silence. See what that's like for you. You may hate it or you may like it. Or like you said, you really notice the texture. You know, like when you bring the fork or whatever up to your mouth, notice that you're raising your hand. See what's on your fork or your spoon. You know, feel all of that. And we miss it, you know, because we don't pay attention to it. So, okay. One last one before we move on. Okay. Yes.
I have a question. So
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that I've read really emphasizes not resting your back on something, having a straight back that's unsupported.
Mhm.
How important do you think that this really is?
I think that you have to do what's going to support your practice, okay? I used to sit on the floor on a cushion, and I could do it forever. And then I started having back pain, and all I could think about was how my back was hurting. And that wasn't supporting my practice. So in traditional Zen places, they'll say, you know, sit on a cushion, have your back straight. But even now, if you go to a center, people sit in chairs, you know. It's still meditation. You know, we think we have to look all like Buddha-like, you know, be sitting cross-legged on the ground. That's fine. If you can do it, great. If you can't, great. So yeah, I've read some of the same things. Yeah. So do what works for you. Did you feel like you had to support your back?
A little bit with the first posture, and then when I moved the knees lower, it wasn't so bad.
Okay. All right, good. All right. Before we go on, does anybody have any idea? I think I might have told you how long that meditation was. It was 20 minutes. Did it feel longer, shorter? One time I asked that question and somebody said it felt like an hour and 20 minutes. Did it feel long to you who are new at it? Yeah, it can. And sometimes you'll be meditating, you're just so present and everything is just flowing, and the bell rings, you're like, whoa, what happened? You know? Not that you fell asleep and the bell woke you up, but you were just so in your experience that the time went by quickly. Okay, before we start another sitting, I just want to say hi to Jen, who's online with us now too. Thanks for showing up. So a friend of mine gave me this lovely little book. It's called How to Sit. Thich Nhat Hanh is the author. It's just a tiny, cute little book. And she found it in one of those little libraries that, like, if you're taking a walk, you see on the sidewalk, somebody's made a little wooden thing, and And she thought, oh, I thought you might like this. It's quite lovely, so you never know what you're gonna find. So I'm gonna read a little, because it can be hard to listen to someone who's reading to you, but we'll just do our best. So Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a famous Zen master, Vietnamese, he passed away recently. He has written many books and has done a lot of good in the world. So this is one chapter from his little book. And this chapter is called meditation. The term for sitting and being aware is sitting meditation. Zen is the Japanese pronunciation of dhyana, which is the Sanskrit word for meditation. Meditation is simply the practice of stopping and looking deeply. You do not need to sit to meditate. Anytime you are looking deeply, whether you're walking, chopping vegetables, brushing your teeth, or going to the bathroom, you can be meditating. In order to look deeply, you need to make the time to stop everything and see what is there. So in other words, pay attention to what you're doing. With mindfulness and concentration, you can direct your attention to what is there and have a deep look. You can begin to see the true nature of what is in front of you. What is there may be a cloud, a pebble, or a human being. It may be our anger, or it may be our own body and its nature of impermanence. Every time we truly stop and look deeply, the result is a better understanding of the true nature of what is there inside us and around us. So this kind of summarizes what we've been talking about and what we've been doing. We're paying attention to what's going on inside and what's going on outside, with some other ideas of how you can do that in your own life. Because the thing about meditation is not just to do it when you come to a place and you sit with a group of people, but also how can you bring it out into the rest of your life. So he gives some suggestions. All right, so we'll do another sit. This one might be a little shorter, but I'm not going to tell you how long. So choose your posture. If you found that having your eyes closed helped you to sleep and you'd rather meditate than sleep, you can do something about that. Okay? If your back was feeling sore because it needed to be supported, put something behind your back. If you want to move somewhere else, be by a window, away from a window, so you can pay more attention. Yeah?
I was going to suggest that for people who are sitting in a pew, if your hips were bothering you, go get a cushion and put it under your feet. Sometimes that helps.
Right, that's an idea too. Thanks for saying that.
Where you're, like, how far your legs have to go.
A lot of people like to put a cushion under their feet to elevate their feet a little bit. I like to have one behind my back, but thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, do what supports your practice. Okay. All right, so you're going to choose your posture, figure out how your hands are going to be, what you're going to do with your eyes, what are you going to pay attention to? Are you going to pay attention to the breath? Are you going to include sound? Are you going to try to add sensation? You just decide it and see if you can't commit to it. If it's all not going well and you want to switch it, just go ahead. No one is going to know what you're doing, only you. So this is your practice and we'll just go for it. So what was that like for people? Anybody willing to share what was different? Was it harder? Was it easier? Did you focus on different things? Yes.
I'm totally new at this, so what I'm saying may be kind of wrong. But, for the first experience, I tried to lose myself in the sound of the bell. And I was there for a while, and then a few other bells from the past crept in. From the playground when I was a kid. The electromechanical bell at 8:17 every morning in high school. The bell they ring at AA meetings when they start. And I was thinking that the bell has kind of always been an invitation to something new. For the second one, I wanted to go back because that was a happy trail process, but the door was closed. So I spent all the time looking at my hands. And I realized I don't know them. Kind of strange. They've been with me for a long time. But I don't know if I could pick them out of a lineup. And
Maybe you could.
I think it's kind of a metaphor for the unexplored life.
Thank you for sharing that with some good awarenesses. Yeah. What did other people experience? Yes.
For the first one, anytime I got distracted, I tried to focus on my breath.
Okay.
For the second one, I had an itch right here. This is the first time I'm scratching it. And it was present the entire time. So instead of focusing on my breath and focusing on that sensation, I focused on all sensations throughout my entire body. My hands touching, my feet on the ground, my hands in my lap, my back against the field. And instead of feeling just that itch on my nose, I felt the vibration of my entire body as one whole. And this kind of got lost in the entire thing.
Yeah. Good. Thank you
It's
for
very interesting.
Thanks for sharing that. I forgot to mention, try sometime when you're meditating, if you have an itch, don't scratch it. See what that brings up for you, examine the sensations. It sounds like you did that. Good job. And if it's making you crazy and you can't stand it, go ahead and scratch it. Anybody notice sounds? Any different sounds?
The cat was very prominent for me. At first I smiled a lot because it made me think of my own cat, and then I started thinking about, oh, I hope it's hungry, I hope it has a home.
Right.
And so I started almost building this narrative around what the cat was feeling, what the cat wanted, and
Right.
I really had a fairly empathetic experience, I guess, just thinking of the cat and hoping that it was just getting its food or wanting inside or something. So yeah, but I was making this whole story around it.
Right, and that's what our mind does. It makes it stories. You'll have a sound or a thought, and then you get into this whole storyline. Sometimes when you're meditating, a memory will come up. It's something you haven't thought about for years, and you want to explore that and think about it more. Just kind of like bookmark it in your mind and go back to it later. Let's just meditate. But things will come up, and you'll be surprised. Yeah, good for you. Thank you. And anybody else? Yeah, Jody.
Yeah, at the same time, it's really good. I thought, how much we, adulting, carry our bodies on our shoulders and our backs, and how we normally breathe on any given day. We're going throughout our day, we think about toddlers and how we just, the belly breathers, our bellies are just kind of like, we haven't learned how to hold that tension like we do as adults. So I kind of try to go back there.
Yeah.
To a 4-year-old me with the belly just breathing. And that really helped. I could feel my body sinking down further into my back. As I say, it's just breathe like a baby.
There you go.
That's good.
You mentioned the cat. I have 2 cats, and I'll watch my cat. And my cat is just always present. Every sound, she looks, she sees everything. She'll just sit. I don't think she's all caught up in a lot of thinking or planning. She's just present. So be like a cat. Okay, and you had your hand up earlier.
Yeah, I was going to piggyback off of what he said about itches. So I'm in a little bit of pain right now, and so sometimes I'll meditate, and in doing that, the pain can kind of, maybe after 20 minutes you work through it and it kind of disappears. But sometimes when you meditate, it gets worse. And so, I don't know, it didn't seem like a good action to keep trying to meditate in this really trying hard way when I was making me agitated. So I don't know, I think it's different when you meditate when you have a physical pain or a mental problem, and sometimes it's like, should you keep doing it, should you not?
Right. And that's good awareness too. And just notice what comes up in your meditation. Maybe you're feeling agitated, or maybe you're feeling judgmental or whatever. And you can ask yourself later, oh, is that how I am in the rest of my life? It probably is. Am I impatient? Yeah, probably. So you can get some good insights from behaviors. So, okay. Well, thank you all for sharing. And let's go ahead and close. If you would feel comfortable joining your poems, we'll do a transfer of merit. May the benefit of this practice be shared with all beings in all directions. May any merit gained from this practice be transferred to those who need it most. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free from suffering. And before we go, our host Meredith is going to read some announcements.
Hi everybody, I'm tonight's host Meredith. We opened the Dharma Temple 17 years ago to introduce Buddhist practice to those who show up. Those who lead are not nuns, monks, gurus, masters, or teachers, and are not looking for students. They are simply practitioners sharing their interpretation of the practice. Every night we have different classes led by different people from various Buddhist traditions. We have a recovery sangha that meets several times a week for anyone with addiction, and our food redistribution program is every Thursday at 4:30, probably not this Thursday. We have classes and programs every day, and everything we offer here is always free. The full schedule is on our website and also posted in the entryway above the shoe rack. We have a lending library. If you see a book you like, feel free to borrow it and then bring it back whenever you're done with it. Please straighten your seat or cushion before you head out. If a few people could stay to close and latch the windows, that would be helpful. Thank you for being here. We wish you well. Hope to see you again soon. And the Dharma Temple will be marching in the Pride Parade Saturday, July 20th. Please go on our website and click Pride Parade to sign up or to see the flyer on the wall outside with the QR code.
All right, thanks, Meredith. And thank you all for coming and sharing your practice.